Welcome to the Everyday Mom Challenge. Today I want to talk about the power of student choice. Now, as you guys know, I'm a homeschool mama and I really value the opportunities that I get to spend one-on-one with my children to develop our own fingerprint curriculum where it is all led by student choice. But I'm also a public school educator and I'm a literacy coach. And I have the opportunity to have a class as well as go out and help support in classroom instruction and curriculum. So I do a lot of research about student voice, student choice in the classroom, policies and procedures, and organization, and I just have like all this stuff swirling in my brain all the time, like what applies to my children at home, what applies to my teachers at school. And what I have found is that we've got to let ourselves go. And you go, what? You know, I spent 4 years in education classes. And I went to master's programs, I'm in my doctorate program, and I'm like, we got to take ourselves out of the equation. That's when the most power is going to impact our students. Is when we don't think of ourselves as teacher, but as a collaboration, as a partnership with our students. How many of you could raise your hand right now and say that every class that you taught year by year was completely different? I mean, seriously, you would try one activity, one project, it worked so well with a group of students, and then the next semester or the next school year, you try it again and it just kind of doesn't have that same purpose and drive or power behind it, and that fire within the students is not seen the same way. And you're like, but it's the same exact project. Well, it's different kids. And that's where student voice comes in. Your children have such a unique spirit about them. Their interests are they're so varied. And how do you know this unless they are given the voice to speak up? So one way to help facilitate these kind of conversations is to always have a spot in your classroom. Like, think about like a poster that you could put up at a bulletin board, a section of your whiteboard, like things we want to know, things that we want to discover. Call it an inquiry board, whatever you want to like tag it. Just put just this big question mark and allow your students the opportunity and the freedom, even if it's in the middle of the lesson, to walk up and write on that board, because there could be something that could be on that board and hopefully you don't know the answer to, but as a team approach together you can solve it and find it. I think that's one of the hardest things maybe, is to just let go of all of the control of every little thing. So this summer, like I said, I've been doing a lot of research on student choice and innovative classroom designs, and thinking, well, I don't have the money to buy all those really cool cushiony balls, and we don't have couches and this and that. We still have our desk. We still have a pencil on a piece of paper. But you know what I do have? I have the power to let go. And what that simply means is that I'm going to say, guys, this is where I would like for our class to go. Let's brainstorm this, and let's have a forum, and let's keep discussing this openly. So I'm going to create our classroom blog where the students are going to be able to respond back and forth, but I'm also going to create something away from technology where it's going to give us the roundtable. We're going to have circle discussions, and let me give you an example. I've already built the PowerPoint for this one for the first week of school. The students are going to have an opportunity to watch different book talks from YouTube that I've already pre-watched, and they're going to go through the different book talks and choose books of interest and then group themselves into novel study units. They're also going to create novel study task cards, and ways that they like to create products, and I'm going to give them full choice of project-based activities that go along with the novels. I'm not going to go online. I'm not going to buy, like for example, if they choose the Pact, I'm not going to buy the, any kind of teacher-made materials where they print off worksheets and answer questions or do quizzes or however they want to create projects for the Pact. I'm going to just let it be open. There's things that pop into my mind, like extensions, because I'm a teacher and I'm constantly thinking of ways for lessons, and I'm like, well, we could email the authors, we could set up packs at our school, we could have pledge boards, we can make commitment letters and of our education, and I think about doing narratives from different point of views and compiling journal narratives. But you know what? I got to get me out of it, because what they can do alone is so much more powerful than what I can give to them. And it's going to be more meaningful. And if it's more meaningful, that means that they are going to take more, it's going to be more of an investment for them, and they're going to produce work not only that they're proud of, but that the process meant something to them. And I think that's what we need to also remove ourselves from, is always thinking of the final product and the grade, but more about the journey of learning, the journey of trying, trial and error, failure, opportunity, just allowing that to just be created from nothing into something, into a classroom environment. So I'm gonna try some new things this year that I'm very thankful that I have that freedom to do so. And I think that's where education is going. If you look up on all the buzzwords now, if you're online, if you're researching, if you're grabbing the new books, it's not just surface education anymore. It's truly removing the teacher from the equation and allowing the students to really drive that instruction. So I'm looking forward to it. I just wanted to share with you about the power of student choice. Doing those inquiry boards are great. I'm going to be doing brainstorming roundtables. I'm also going to be doing a lot of leadership type conferences. I'm going to create mini lessons, and they're going to be about what makes a leader, the qualities of a growth mindset, motivational strategies, tips, really that power thinking that we say we want our students to have a growth mindset, but if they don't know this language, if they don't understand that, or what it takes to move from fixed to growth, then I think that we're just against surface, that we're just throwing out a definition, but we're not allowing them the application of it. So as far as me, I say that I want a growth mindset as a teacher, and yes, I do a lot of research, but if I don't put those applications into practice and then I'm not reflective about it, then I'm not really having a growth mindset. Another thing that I have already made PowerPoint slides on this too. Another suggestion is to call yourself a research class. Like, yes, I'm in my doctorate program and I'm researching and I'm setting up design, and I'm looking at all of that with statistics and everything, but I'm not saying that you have to go that far. But think about the power of visuals, of charts, of graphs, of assessment collection, of Likert scales. Think about how easy it is to do assessments. Oftentimes we teach till the end of the bell and we think, oh wow, I got them the whole entire time, bell's ringing, I'm still screaming, when in fact we should make sure that we have time for reflection and assessment. And I'm not just talking about did they get the word or the skill. I'm talking about, was the lesson an impactful lesson that really challenged their thinking? and allowing the students to do these quick surveys, whether you want to use an online format like SurveyMonkey, or whether or not you just want to have them mark cards. There's a lot of different ways. There's different apps that you can use for survey data collection. You can keep them electronically, but I love like the visual graphs, and I know the electronic ones do that too. So I'm going to play around with some different forms of assessment. I still like the whole coloring, but I'm going to play around with both, and I'm going to see, where the students want to go with that. And I'm going to have data managers in the room where students are going to be not voluntold, but we're going to volunteer for different high school jobs, and some of them is going to be for data collection, data analysis for our English class. And it's not just what a student made on a vocabulary test, and where the strategy is successful in helping them to learn the skill over a week, but it's also going to be reflective practices for student choice and motivation and grit, those kind of things that maybe sometimes you can't just put your finger on it. You can't see the letter grade, but you can see in the actions, interactions, and reactions of students. So we're going to be doing a lot of progress monitoring, and I think that in itself is a great part of reflective practice and a growth mindset that you need to maybe try to start weaving in, and not just on a monthly basis at the end of a unit, but try to do it as much as you can, because this allows students to practice a skill, a strategy, or a new way of doing something, and then honestly take the time to sit down and say, well, did this work for me? If it did, they can hold on to that, and if they didn't, then it's out looking and researching and finding new ways to try to approach the skill. Turn your class into a research class. That's one way to help with that growth mindset, because that's one thing that scientists are always doing, trying to discover and unlock a hypothesis and prove. So think about the words that I just said here. We could have a whole nother video on that one, but I am just going on about my ramblings of what I'm thinking about before the first week of school. So I hope that this gives you something to think about too. So blessings to you, and I'll check you guys out later. Bye.